So first, what is innovation? As you know, we have one of our required readings for the term. One of three books is actually called On Innovation. It was put together by the Harvard Business Review and is a pretty good look at different takes of innovation, what innovation is, and examples of innovation. But I wanted to share something else with you. So Fast Company is a website. It used to be a magazine back in the days when magazines were more popular. However, it's an online like news resource for people who are entrepreneurial minded, who have small to medium-sized businesses. There are a lot of resources and stories that are geared towards that. So I found this one article called "What is Innovation?" And there was a really interesting quote by Steve Jobs that was included. And it's all about, as the author here, David Breyer, writes, it all comes down to the dots. And Steve Jobs said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life." So there are a couple different things going on with that quote, and again, it's Steve Jobs, the one of the founders of Apple Computer. So two different things. This reliance or this keeping from looking behind you is very important. It doesn't mean, because we're going to talk about this class about key performance indicators and examining data. Well, data is stuff that happened in history, right? So we do have to look in order to judge our position, our performance, look into the past. When we think about innovation, though, we really are looking into the future. And what Steve Jobs, I think, is saying in this quote is that at some point you just can't go by data alone, that in many cases you have to have this more of an intrinsic will, desire to succeed, that you do have a firm belief that your business idea is a good one. And that's kind of that foundation for innovation. There's also a video that's at this link that it's a very short video, 2 minutes, 20 seconds. That's also worth a good look. So I stopped by the businessdictionary.com to take a look at what they have to say about innovation. I really want to scroll down and just focus on these two specific categories of innovation that they talk about. They talk about evolutionary innovation and revolutionary innovation. Evolutionary being continuous. A lot of times you can think about how technology, how it evolves over time, and of course that evolution has been a lot quicker the past several years, but it's something that is ongoing. Okay, you might have iterations of products year after year with just a minor tweak here and a minor tweak there. You might say that, and I won't focus on a particular manufacturer, but smartphone development. Every year it seems like, or every year and a half, depending on the product development cycles of these companies, they're coming out with a new phone. And generally speaking, it's just a slightly better camera, it's a slightly faster processor, it's slightly better operating system. So you're just having these incremental evolutionary innovations, if you will, that are built into these products. I don't like using the term innovation when we talk about things that are very slight changes or updates or upgrades. Technically, it does fall into that category, but I think it kind of waters down the word innovation in my mind. What would be revolutionary innovation, the second category? This is disruptive and new. So this would be the advent, the first, the first smartphone that was ever developed and sold. Okay, that would be revolutionary. You could think about Tesla being fairly revolutionary and coming out with an electric car that others had come out with electric cars prior, but they've really done an amazing job in the performance category of their electric cars. That's just another way of thinking about innovation. Next, let's think about innovation inhibitors. So what are some of the things that kind of get in the way of innovation? And the book, in your readings, you are going to read about the catalyst of innovation, but I found this, and this is also from the Harvard Business Review, and I want to take a look at it. And so they list this 10 ways to inhibit innovation, and just to focus on a couple of these, because they give us 10 common innovation inhibitors. And the first one, focusing on short-term results. Second, fear of cannibalizing current business. So just looking at these two things, because they are related to each other. When you're focusing on short-term results, you're focused on how are we going to be making money over the next week, month, this year, and you're really looking in that very, very short time frame. And that also is the fear of cannibalizing is based on that. And what we mean by the fear of cannibalizing your current business is that you don't want to take sales away from your existing customers, meaning the new product replaces one of your older products that you still want to sell. So are you going to be, you're worried about offering two competing products with each other. But then that can also be short-sighted. Maybe, for instance, you do need to come out with a newer product because you're going to be you're going to be using new technologies, taking it a different direction. At some point, you're going to retire the old product. So you really, this focus on the short term can really be an inhibitor to innovation. And the couple of these other points I wanted to focus on are with regard to management and leadership. So if a manager isn't trained on how to be a leader in innovation, or to, in some cases, not just support innovation but require innovation of employees, then of course that's an inhibitor. If the people who are running the show don't believe in innovation or understand what it is, then you're not going to have any of that. And then secondly, managers who just aren't supportive, who would prefer to pick out flaws in what you're doing that's different rather than supporting you and in those things that you're doing that are innovative within your own job. They should be finding ways to support that. And also, if it's working for you, it may work for other people. So the role of the manager is really important in innovation.